all of you. I'm audible, all of you. I'm audible for all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So this is the day 2 for the data science projects. So right now, today our session topic is what if analysis, where we see the what is the use of the what if analysis. We show in previous lecture the goal 6 and data tables. We just repeat in the scenario manager is one of them. Then after, the most important thing in the solver, why we are using the solvers in manufacturing organizations and in finance organizations, we thoroughly using a solver. Then after, the macro and advanced macro, how we do the repeated tasks within in macro. Then after, we saw the VBA projects, and in this VBA we create one of the project for the data analysis, where the total details we WhatsApp link, so you get to find all the details related data. First of all, we just start our projects, and then after we show you how to perform in those tasks. Okay. So first topic, what if analysis. Generally, the what if analysis using for the research purpose. Generally, in this step, we containing the three things. First is data tables, then after goal 6 and scenario manager. Someone, Deepak Narendra is requesting to allowing them. Hello. Sir, someone is allowing the control.
Hello, Deepak sir. You are allowing to request control, which is not permissible. Okay.
Can we continue?
Continue. Yes, sir. Continue.
So we show that in a data table we getting the two things, row inputs and column inputs, and we get all the details of the data. In previous section we have to see this, and as well as the goal 6, we just finding all the related data. And then after, the scenario managers, which is related to the scenario, different scenario, we can merge it and we can show that how the scenario manager is using. Okay. So we just repeat these two tasks, data table, goal 6, and we also showing you how to using the scenario managers. Thereafter, our next topic is in a solver, which is the advanced level of a goal 6. When we are using the goal 6 have the limitations, we have only one value we can be changed, or but we can't adding any kind of the criteria which we are showing on the previous lectures. Just like in a dsum, we adding more criteria, but sum if and sum if as function, they are not allowing any kind of the criteria. So we show the solver as well as. Okay. So let's say we just do completed with the two topics, data tables and goal 6 and scenario managers, and then after we saw the goal 6 solver. Okay. Okay. So basically, the what if analysis we show in a data table. in data tabs like the scenario manager, goal seek, and data table. In previously session, we have to see these two things: what is the use of the goal seek and what is the use of data table. We have see this data table in EMI calculations, where we creating the EMI, and with the left and right columns, we getting the detailed data and chart with using the data table, as well as a goal six. Goal six we are using for right now we finding some of the data. I just repeat this task once again because right now we mentioned on this today's session as well as. So we see these two things, and then after we show the scenario manager, and then after we are moving into the next session, what we call as the solver. Okay. So right now I have a product inventory. Like suppose I have the 1000 products we have. If the purchase price, just I'm putting the just like 140. So we calculate total. Then after the variable cost. Variable cost is uncertain cost in any organizations. If I'm purchasing 1000 PCs to my for my organizations, the variable cost going to be very different. Including as a variable cost as like when my AC is not working, so their cost going to be in variable cost. Some kind of the expenses which I occurred when we have to transporting something, so that we are including in variable cost. So I'm putting the variable cost as a 12,000. Then after fixed cost. Like fixed cost means like employee salary, light bills, rent, they all are including the fixed cost. Then I'm putting the sales price. Sorry, total purchase, and then sales price. So I just randomly putting any value, like I put the 145 and my sales total is 145 into 1000. And then I find out my profit and loss. Sales minus purchase. So minus 77 minus 57,000 I facing a loss because I am selling my product in 145. Okay, so we are using a what if analysis going to goal 6. The goal 6 have only the three criteria. First of all, we set the cell, in this cell which value we required, so we have to setting on the value as by over here, and this value is affected by which is cell. If we change the cell's value, so they are affected, so we also putting the affected value, but we can't including any kind of the criteria over here. Like I want to make a break even, E9 is my set value. I need only the 0 for on a break even point by changing the sales price. So they give me the 202 rupees as my sales price. So when I'm getting my break even point, if I'm purchasing the product in 140, so I have to be sell this product for 202. But if my inventory is 1000, if my inventory is going to be more, so the value going to be in change. But the my so that's the thing, that things we have to see. So that's the limitation of the goal 6. We have only set on particular value. Okay, we just repeated this task because when we do the solvers, we can understand betterly when we are using why the solver is very useful compared to the goal seek. Second things, if I need only 145 value or in sales price and I need over 20,000 profit, so obviously I have to be change the my inventory value as well as. So first of all, I'm going to what if analysis and goal 6, and I need in not minus 57,000 loss, but I need 20,000 profit by changing which value, by changing the inventory. If I'm putting the sales price as it is 145. So right now they show me that if you have to sell 60,400 inventory, your PCs with the 145 rupees as a sales price, then after you getting the 2,000 rupees, sorry, 20,000 rupees as a profit. Okay. So every cell is connected, but if just I'm putting the as a hard code value, like I'm putting the 1000, then 140, and 145, and then 20,000. So they're not working because there's all the hard coded value. So I'm putting the control and tile button. So I show all the formulas linked with each others. See, I'm only give the value to the reasonable where the formula is located. So obviously in hardcode value we can't do any kind of the changes. So in goal 6, where the formula is located, those value we can able to change, like P&L account, then after inventory, PLN account, then after total price also. So these values are going to be changeable. Otherwise, this is a hard code value, so we can't able to change. Okay. So with the goal 6, we do the any kind of the reverse calculations. Like we just take one of the example, purchase product in 1200 rupees, and I'm working in GST, so that GST value is 18%. So 1200 into 18%. So total value is 1200 plus 216. So 216 my GST, which I have to be pay for that. But right now I'm not be ready to pay 1416. If I want to pay 1350, so what the my base value? So in this time we are also using a goal 6. So we go to the what if analysis and goal 6. This is a 1416, so we change the value as 1350. In this 1350, we have in which value we have to change. Many people they are not see the shared sessions. Am I right? Not able to see the shared presentations. आपको दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है क्या?
Sir, we are able to see it. So means if individual is having problem, they need to refresh or rejoin. I think all other can see it.
Okay. Many people said they are doing the chat. They are not
Okay,
able.
sir. You just keep it up, sir. We will manage it.
Okay.
Okay, sir. More queries will come, then we will make you notify. Otherwise, please continue.
Okay, not an issue. Sure. Thank you. So right now this is a reverse calculation. If we need a V1350, so obviously the GST going to be 80. We can separate the GST value, whichever one for the base value. But we with the using the goal 6, we do the reverse calculations. Mainly we are using the goal 6. So yesterday's sessions we have to do this kind of the inventory programs. We also making very complex inventory programs. So and we are using the goal 6 so they can give an exact result for us. As well as we are also using the data table over your data tables. So I'm repeat also one kind of the data table, but like loan amount is 1,20,000. Why? Because you're using a EMI formula, because they give a very thorough for us, like a 10% and 2 years. See, the most important thing is in data table, we only changing the row and column inputs. So we are working only, we have the limitations. We have already followed the 2 criterias, not more criterias. Okay. So that's the limitation from the data tables, because that is an x-axis and y-axis. So we finding out the all the data for that. So we just yesterday task as well as like a 10,000, then 12,000, then 15,000 and 70,000, 5. if we take as a 5%, 6%, 8%. So we make over here PMT, comma transaction. So rate going to be 10% divided by 12, comma the year. We take the 2 years, but we convert into the months, comma then after the present value, comma future value is 0, comma end of the period. So we select those things and we using what if analysis and data table. So the row input. So this formula is affected these values 12,000, 10% and 2 years. So we just checking what is in the row input. So in the row input they have to mention the loan amount. So we select the loan amount over here. And in this column sections there is only the percentage. So we select the percentage and we just click the OK. So we getting all the data. So any kind of formula we finding out, and we have to be give all the detail if the given data on the x-axis and y-axis, yeah, horizontal and vertical, and we want to be fill all the things. You have to see these things. This is a table. This is a table. I'm doing the control and tile button. So this is a table, and they have been checking out the data from B12 to B13. So B12 and B13 means B12 and B13. So they depend on these two kind of the value, and they are getting the data from this PMT formula. But in B12 and B30, they're putting the 10,000 and 0.05% value and give them value. But within a fraction of a second, we're getting all the data over here. So that is a data table. So right now we just learning, we saw the goal 6 and data table. At the end of the day, we take the scenario manager because that is very easy for us. But right now the most important thing is in the solver. So first I'm taking the solver as it is. What is a solver? So I show you that in the solver. Because in there's a last topic is right now a scenario manager I taking at the end of the day. Okay, in the last section we have to be continue these things. Okay, because this is very smaller topic, so we completed at the last. Checking the solver because in the solvers we make the many projects and we give we are also giving many assignment for you to sort it out. So basically the solver is a Microsoft Excel add-in programs. They are not including in Excel. So we just finding out in add-ins and then we have to be add on our Excel sheet, and they are generally located on a data tab. Solver is in optimizing value and formally one to cells and objects. This is we call that solver is very advanced level of the goal 6, because in goal 6 we're not adding any kind of the criteria, we're not adding any kind of the scenario over there, but in solver they give all the facilities. Let's see how the solver is looking right now. This is the solver window where we have to be set the object as we setting the object in the goal 6. So we first of all set the object over here. You have to see this thing. So we have to set the object in goal 6, and then after this 3 value they have to be mentioned over here. First of all, if we need the maximum value, if we need the minimum value, if we need the value of which value we require, just like in goal 6. They give the variable cells by changing which variable cells. In goal 6 only we have to changing one value and they affect the other value. Over here we have to give the range of the values. So if the range of the value is going to be in a change, our answer is going to be in a change. And then after we have to click the add buttons, and we also add the constraints over here, and the constraint window is looking like this, where we give the cells reference and what kind of the constraints we are want to add in our solver. Basically they are the less than equal to, greater than equal to, integer, betweens and difference. This option are showing between the call reference and constraints. After that, the solver method. There are two methods, GR and norm. We generally using the GRG normalizations methods because they are not taking the floating points, because when we are working, so we need a round figures. So we just changing the solving method as well as. So the solver is looking like this. This is the advanced version of the Go 6. So let's we just start our solver program. Okay, so I'm just removing the solver first of all, and my solver is open over here. Okay, so first of all, we have to add a solver in our Excel sheet. So the first things, we go to the file section. In file section, we select the option. In option, there is one of the option we call add-ins. We select the add-ins. In this add-ins, there's all the Microsoft add-ins over here. There's a lots of add-ins over here, and we have to see. We see the add-ins over here. Right now, the solver. This is solver add-ins. We have to see the solver add-ins. But we saw also that type. They are in the Excel add-ins. Sometimes they are also COM add-in. So we just selecting the Excel add-in over here. Right now, this is in the Excel add-ins, COM add-ins, action, XMLs, and disable items. So we select the Excel add-ins because my solver is located on Excel add-in types. This is a path where their solver is located, the solver file is located. So this is show the location file over here, and this is the type of the Excel add-ins. So I want to all solver add-in in my Excel sheet. So first of all, I'm selecting the type as an Excel add-in in or in manage. Okay, and then we press the go button. Okay, see over here you see that right now in this surface area, in this surface area there is totally blank. This is totally blank. So I'm select the solvers and then click the OK button. This solver is adding. So this is analysis. Solver is adding into the my data tab. They are only adding in data table, not any other tabs. Okay, not a formula, not a page layout, not insert. They are only adding on a data. So that's, remember, you can show this solver only in data tab. Okay. So right now that is one of the simple scenario we have. Right now in one organization there's a multiple product like t-shirt, jeans, watch, and shoes, and the quantity is one, and their price is I have mentioned over here, and we just make them total quantity plus total. Okay, so that is basic practical. We have to see how the solver is useful for us, and their total going to be 5,000. If with this 5,000 we purchasing each and every, but if I want to expand 9,000 rupees, and I have I some give me and just like in a shopping mall, I getting the 9,000 reference bonus. So which things I have to purchase and I have to utilize each and everything. So in this 5,000, if I'm taking the 9,000, so which product I have to be choose with using the solver. They give the as a statistical data for us in which products you have to purchase, and you getting the 9,000 your referral bonus. Okay, so I'm just selecting the solver. So just I removing the criteria right now over here. Okay, so my set object is like E8. So this is 5,000, but I take the value of 9,000. Which variable cell? So I just selecting all the quantities. This quantity had to be selected because these quantities depend. Because the price is already fixed, we can't change the price, but we only change the quantity and take the 5,000 to 9,000. Okay, then we are click the add button. There is a constraint. So my first constraint is, first of all, I'm selecting all the quantities and make them as an integer, because that do the statistical analysis. So sometimes they also putting the 1.5 and 1.6 and 1.7, which is not preferable for me. Okay, so I'm taking only the round figures. So I'm selecting the quantity and they make them as an integer, and I'm these things. Second things, I'm selecting all the quantities, and my criteria is also purchase at least one product in them, and I'm also adding this and close. Okay, so this is GRG normal, simple Excel, and evolutionary. We take the GRG normal, non-linear, and we solve it out. So basically, they told that the price rate is 2000 is MOS. So they compare to give you take the 3 shoes. So your value is going to be changed. So your 9000 is your refer bonus 9000 you have to be spending with those all products, because my quantity I have already changed. That is a basic project. We have to see this how to using the solver over here. Okay. Right now I'm also changing some values. I'm just taking one. I'm changing the constraint over here. I change the constraint. At least we need 2 products. Let's see what they do. Okay. So the solver is not working, because if you take the 2 products maximum level, so obviously your value going to be in a change. Okay, the solver couldn't find the feasible solution, so solver cannot find the point for which all constraints are satisfied. So you take the restore. So they show us that how we can utilize our amounts, our quantities, so we getting the preferable results. So that is the basic use of the solver. Right now, where we are using the solvers, so we have to see another scenario. Right now, this kind of the projects I have to making. This is like one of the car making company, where they have their inventories and their product names with their product price and their quantities, and how much inventory they are using for each product. Just like in tire, this Zen using the 4 tires, Wagner using 4 tires, Swift using 4 tires, and how much production we do, how much maximum production we do. So let's we create these projects. Okay, so I'm create over here a new projects. I just copy the basic things. I also copy the inventory. Okay, so my criteria is okay. So over here, if we want to create one Zen, so they need 4 tires, 3 clutches, one brakes, one body, and 3 gears. This is my product name, which we are using to making one Zen. This is my inventory, how much in my inventory stock right now. I have 120 tires, 200 clutches, 250 brakes, 100 bodies, and 300 gears. This inventory I have. In the Wagonars, we also require the 4 tires. They require also 3 clutches. They need 2 brakes, 1 body, and 2 gears. Even though in a Swift Desire, they have also required the 4 tires, 1 clutches, 2 brakes, 1 body, and 3 gears. So right now, how much inventory we are use? So we use it, and we how to create. So bracket F4 into 4 plus, see, this one is like we create one Zen, one Swift, and one Wagoner. So we make this D5, C5 as a constant. Why? Because this value not going to be any change. F4 and to 4. So for making one Zen, one Wagoner and one Swift Desire, we're using the 12 tires right now. So in inventory 120, the 12 tire is removing right now. We just drag them. Why? Because make them constant. So every time they're just checking, they require the 7 clutches for making one inventory for the Zen, Wagoner and Swift. If we want to create one Zen, one Wagoner and one Swift, so we have to use the 7 clutches. Then after brakes, bodies and gears, that is remain 120 minus 12. So this is the remaining inventory I have. So my total production, so I'm taking a 1200 into 1. This $1,200 is the price of the Zen. If one Zen is in $1,200, then plus bracket 1500 into 1 plus bracket $1800. This is price of the Swift, and we sell only one Swift. So total I earn $4,500 over here. My work is I want to maximum production over maximum production. I'm using all my inventory and I need a maximum production. So they give me which product is best for me to selling out. Okay. So I'm using a solver over here. So that is my set price is 4,500 rupees. I need a maximum value, even though I'm also taking the value of value, which value we need, but I'm taking the maximum value. Over here, by changing which variable says, I give the range of the variables which affect my answer. So most probably they are my all the uh, Zen inventory. How much Zen? This is my variable where they are affected. So obviously the production also affected. So this inventory, this is a product inventory, this is a car inventory. So I'm selecting the by changing which variable. So the changing one Zen, one Wagoner, one Swift. If we are changing over here, so already the project is going to be a change. Take the so we add the constraint. In this constraint, first of all we check. First of all, this car inventory is going to be in integers because they are not going to be in floating points. So we add first constraint over here. Then the second constraint is I'm also selecting this, and I need that the greater than greater than equal to we need greater than equal to we need at least 5 cars, and Zen, Wagoner and Swift Desire we need the 5 cars because when they do the calculation, so sometimes they putting the Zen as a 0, Wagoner as a 0. We need that Zen, Wagoner, at least they create the 5 cars, each of them. Then add these things. Then after second constraint is remaining. We just selecting the remaining, and it is greater than equal to 0 because sometimes they need some form some desired answer. They are also taking the minus value. So I'm just give them constraint not going to below the 0 and add these things. So I'm adding the 3 constraint over here, and I'm just click the solver. Okay, so my tire is totally used right now, even though my body also very low 17, gear 215, 195 brakes and 150 clutches. So I'm get the maximum production is $49,500, The maximum production if I'm doing the Swift desired, that should be very desirable for me. And that is my inventory. So I'm adding the constraint with this inventory is affected of us for us. Where in a goal 6 we are only changing the one value. Over here we have a rights to do many things. Right now we add many constraints as we want, as we create, and with this constraint they can finding out our desired result. Okay, if we need more results like 49,500 is the maximum production right now as per the solver. But right now we just change the value. I'm just taking the 1 and 1. You have to see this. I'm affecting those value, so those values affecting all related values. Okay, I'm taking the value of 50,000. So I'm changing this constraint as well as, because this is, or at least they take the 5. So I change the constraint. This is going to be less than equal to, we can create it. Let's we see I'm achieving my result or not. Just 1 minute, I'm making the mistake. I'm just delete this constraint. Okay, and just sort it out. See over here that this finding all the problems, but I can't find it. Just I repeat this task. In the right now over here, they're getting the most probably formation. Over here, you have to see this most probably result they can be finding out. See, they're checking the sub problems. They take the many trials, and after these trials, they show that we're not making your desired output result. They check many results as they can, but they can't finding my desired output. So they putting the 0. But I'm taking the maximum value, and we can do the sort out. So they can easily sort it out. They say that the Swift desire is most desirable for you. So you have to do the maximum production of the Swift desire. So that is a solver, which give you lots of range of the criteria, which we are not seeing in a goal 6. So that is the advanced level of the goal 6, and we can finding out of the predictable result. They find most probably results. How much they can get in the result, they have to be finding out, and then after give the sorted result to us. So I'm sharing this sheet to you. So we do this hands-on practice for the solver. We make the maximum inventory. We're creating the maximum inventory over here, and we're just checking out we're getting our desired input or not. See, this is a 54,000 desired input we get as a maximum level. Okay, we do the restore as well as. So in the solver, we first of all the set objects, then after which value we want, otherwise maximum, minimum, then after which variables we change to hold the programs and hold the result going to be changed. So we give the range of these values. Then after we can add the constraint as well as, then after we do the solver. In constraint, they have the options greater than equal to, less than equal to, integer, bin, and difference. Remember one thing: when you are selecting the variable, changing variable, so make them as an integer, because they are statical formula. So if they need some desired result, they also putting into the floating points, which is not good things when we are doing some kind of an analysis things. Okay, just repeat the whole task once again. First of all, going to the files, then after the option. In the option in add-ins, you're getting all the add-ins program. Right now our topic is in the solver, so the solver is in for the Excel add-ins. Sometimes in other Excel they also show in COM add-in as well as. but majorly they are showing on Excel heading. So you're selecting the Excel heading right now in manage portion. Then after click on the go buttons, and then after selecting the solver, your solver only show on the data tab in the right side on analysis area. Then after what the result you want, so first of all select the results, then start the solver. So you set the object first of all, maximum, minimum, and what value you need, variable, if you which variables is affecting the whole the projects, you select the range of the variables, and then after add the constraints. Okay. So these things we are using to making the production for us. Right now we are also use one of the projects where we are doing the sellings and purchasings and making an inventory. So we are using the SUMIF function, SUMIF S functions, and we see that if we sell the products, so uh, if we purchasing the tires, clutch, brakes, and bodies and gears from different vendors, and we sell the Zen, Wagoner, and Swift. So, how much production we need, which kind of the inventory we need. So we make one of the project. This is one of the project with it graphically representing to you. First of all, this is our vendor detail. When we make the data validations, where the any vendor we have to purchasing the tires and tires, like just I'm adding the one Amazon's. We purchasing tire from the Amazon. The quantity I'm taking 12, and the price is 1200. You have to see this when I'm purchasing 12 tires, so I have already 120, so they adding on this 132, so my production going to be more. So I'm making the 33 Zen, 33 Wagoner, and 33 Swift Desire. But if I'm selling Zen, I have production of 33 Zens, 33 Wagoner, 33 Swift Desire. If I'm selling Zen, like I sell the 12 Zen to other companies, $1,200. So obviously they affect my Wagoner production as well as my Swift production as well as. So let's see this project. Okay. So we creating another sheet. Okay, I'm taking the previous one as well as, and we make this over here. That's the maximum production we putting over here, and then we take the Zen over here. Zen, Wagoner, and Swift. Okay, so first of all, we want to finding out how much Zen we create. So which kind of the formula we use. So they show me that if this inventory, if I am using 120 tires for only making the Zens, 200 clutches only making the Zen, 250 brakes for only making the Zen, and 100 bodies for making a Zen, and then 300 gears for making a Zen. So how much Zen we can create it, but we are not using those inventory. Why? Because the other people, this Wagoner, Swift Desire, they are already use these things. So just we put over it 0, 0, and 0. So you have to see this in the remaining, my remaining inventory is the same as my previous one. When you which is my base inventory, they are the same, and the remaining is are the same. So first of all, we create how much Zen we create with this inventory. Okay. So on this time we are using the minimum tag. In minimum, we just take 120 we make them as a constant, divide by 4, comma. Then after we taking 200 constant, divide by 3, comma. 250 make them constant, divide by 1, comma. 100 constant, divide by 1, comma. 300 constant, divide by 3. Maximum we make Zen as a 30. Okay. If we are using a 120 tires, clutches, brakes, bodies, and gears, so we already make 30 Zens for that. The question mark is, sir, the inventory is more if they are using maximum, but if some inventory is going to be in a 0, and some inventories have right now, if the tire going to be in a 0 and the brake have a 70, so without tires we can't able to make the Z, so they take the probability value. Okay, so don't think that they are totally use these things, but we can assume that they use all the things. If the anything is going to be inventory we have finished right now for the 0, so they stop to making the production. So this is 30 Zen we have to be created, and we just simply dragging out to Wagoner and Swift. So over here they are also making the same thing. Okay, if you're changing the value, if they're using only one clutch, one brake, and one tire, the maximum value affected for the tire as well as. Okay, if we're taking the 8 tires, so see they are totally reflected, because the tire is very important, because if the tire going to be very lower, then after the inventory going to be a change. So I'm just putting the 4, then 3, then 2. Okay, if I'm changing the tire value in 200, so they are going to be the same. So tire is very important for us because they are using the maximum value of the inventory. 4, 4, 4. Even though we can also change over here. Then we make 5, then make 7, then make 2. They're using the 4 brakes, and 5. See, the Wagoner is going to 28. Okay, we just removing the floating points. So right now, in this inventory, we make the maximum production of Zen. So right now, if we selling 30 Zens, okay, so all going to be in a 0. So my tire going to be in a 0. So right now the clutch is remaining 50, brakes remaining 130, bodies remaining 17, and gear remaining 220. So for inventory we can maximum production 30 Zen on only, but because they are the maximum, without tire we can't make any Zen, so they give the probability. Otherwise other thing is not meaning 0, like clutch they have remaining the 50 clutch we have to remains, 130 brakes we have to remain, but the tire is 0, so we are not making any kind of the Zen right now. 0. But if we getting the 15 Zen, so the all over effect, so we we only creating 15 Zen and 50 Swift. If we sell the 5 Swift Desire, so right now we already making the 10 Zen, 10 Wagoner, and 10 Swift. We already sell 7 Wagoners. So right now we have the inventory where we creating 3 Zen, 3 Wagoner, and 3 Swift Desire. So obviously we need that. My tire is not enough to making more cars, even though clutches is not more, and even the body is not more. So also make this kind of the analysis between the car companies. Okay, so right now we also creating one of the projects where we adding the vendors and we are adding the customers. Number vendor name, product, quantity, price, and total. So vendor information, okay. I'm only taking the few entries over here. I just copy these things and putting over here. So right now this is my customer information. Okay. So the product is already predefined. So we using the data validation over here. So we go into the data validation. We're selecting the list and source. We're selecting all this source: tire, clutch, brake, body, and gear, and we add it over here. And we just dragging down, so every cell have the data validation option. Okay, use the quantity and price as well as okay. In this production we also go to data validation, select the list, source, we select the Zen, Wagoner and Swift, and we just dragging out quantity plus price, and we select it. Right now within Amazon, we're selecting the tire. If we purchase 12 tires with 100 rupees per each, so I need that this 12 quantity is adding into the over here. So for this purpose we are using the SUMI function. So first of all they're asking the range. So right now I give this whole range, but make sure they make the be constant. So please please press the F4 button, so make them constant. So this cell C20 to C26 is going to be in a fix, so we can't change it. Then after criteria, so criteria is right now my product. Right now there have been overlap. So this is my C6 value is my product criteria. Then the sum range. I take this all the quantity. Also remember put them as a F4 constant. Bracket close. So every cell they have a value. So that is when we starting our projects. So with this inventory we start our any organizations. I have already 120 and we have to purchase a new 12 tires. So we should add in the 120. We also adding within formula as well as Okay, so when we add tires, then after we add, if I'm one of the vendors and we add clutches, 25 clutches, each 120. So see, they show me that my Wagoner we making 32, Zen 33, Swift Desire is 33. Brakes, I purchase 100, 25. So the most important thing that depend on the tire, because we are maximum using our tires. We maximally using our tires. We just making 5 as well as we are maximum use our tires. So when we add the product quantity, so they are already automatically add. So the same things we are doing over here within a sum. So over here we put the sum if we take the range, we make them as a constant, comma, this criteria is Zen, comma, then sum range. So we take the quantity sections and F4. Right now we have no any Zen. We have to sell it out. So then make a 0. We just dragging to Wagoner and Swift also. Right now we sell the Zen. I'm selling the 12 Zens, 1200. So this affect my Wagoner, Swift and Zen as well as. In some time, right now they are showing the same value, but sometime they're going to be in a different value because we are using the inventory very lower. Okay, so that's why. If you're changing the value, so see this. So right now I'm already creating 30 Zens, 21 Wagoners, and 13 Swift Desires. So if we sell this Wagoner, like I'm selling the Wagoner, 5 Wagoners, 155. So right now we are only making the 10 Zen, 16 Wagoners, and 10 Swift Desires. If this using gear like 6, they're using 5. And they're using the 4. Let's see they are affected. No, because already the gear is more, so they are not changing any values. Because they affected the lower value. Right now the body is going to be lower, so body and tire is very important right now to changing those values. So this is a solver, and we using one of the project we using with the SumIf and SumIfX functions. We make the production as well as right now how much production we are creating. So we are doing the solver 2 projects. Okay, with this hand-on practice, and then after we see the we saw the macro. I hope you can understand how the solver is using. Okay, so I give this raw data and I'm sharing you link on WhatsApp. So everyone do this task, and if you do this task on my inventory, that's not an issue. So first of all, you show how do we get the solvers and how with using the SumIf functions we can make our project as well as, and we can analyzing how much Zens and Wagoners and Swift Desire we have to create it. If we have the inventory products over here, so without going to our just like in where your inventory is storing, where your inventory is stored right now, so over in this Excel sheet you can manage each and everything, and you are analyzing that how much Zens, Wagoners and Swift Desire you had been created. Okay, so this a small project we have to create it and we have to see the solver as well as. So I share this solver sheet to all of you to make this project. And then after we see the macro, which is also very useful. Hello, all of the participants, can you understand? Anyone have any query and doubts regarding the solver? How do I get the solver? So please just raise your questions. Hello.
Hello, participant, you can unmute yourself.
Hello. Excuse me, sir.
G.
This is Balasubramanian.
Yes, Balas.
Sir, you are teaching very nice, but you are so fast.
Okay, I'm sorry for that, sir. I'm sorry. I'm extremely sorry for that, sir.
But the concept which you are teaching is very nice. No problem. But can we follow it by the way of making ourselves? We need to do. Do we have practical session on this solver or any other?
Sir, I'm sharing one of the Google link, so you can downloading all the Excel sheet.
Okay.
On this Excel sheet, this is only the data, so you do the practice. Actually, sir, this is online, so I'm not understand. I'm just speaking in front of the PC. I'm really and only I'm going through because in the live sessions, what happened? The students and the trainer, we have to interact with each other. So within expression, we can understand what the problem we have been facing. Even though I don't know, my streaming is going to very fast and slow. I have no any idea. I just open my Excel sheet and I'm taking those projects because which is you can understand easily. We're not going to making any vast projects. At the end of the day, we show the how the Excel projects we have to making and how we are using. But in this particular duration of timing, we are not able to explain each and everything because we don't know. Sometimes some participant they have an issue regarding the sharing the screen. They are not properly show when I'm doing this task. So the representing is very slow right now, and some have they have stuck with the freeze their panel as well as, so I can't understand. So I'm extremely sorry if I'm going to very fast. I repeat this task as well as if you have any questions, so definitely we do these things. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anyone have a doubt regarding this solver?
Hello, Vishal bhai.
G.
Just I want to have one the query in my mind.
Bharat bhai.
Bharat bhai bol raha hu. You have written the formula for finding the minimum by remaining divided by whatever the quantity you requires, right?
I just quit this task. Yes, sir.
Yes. So what I found, can we use array formula instead of typing each and every the divisions? For first we write, and if we press Control Shift Enter, I think it will give the same answer. I tested it right now, 30. I think there was 30 value, minimum figure, somewhere before the last topic.
The minimum functions because what you're using right now, sir? You are using array. You say the array.
No, I have written only first the absolute wala, right? Remaining quantity, absolute value divided by its unique you require the quantity, right? Divided by 4.
Just I'm going to the screen first of all.
Yes.
1 minute, huh, sir?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Right now over here.
No, I'm talking about.
No, sorry.
There is one minimum 30 figure is there.
Yes, minimum.
Yes. You can go to the downside.
Remaining divide by the how much inventory we use.
Only yes. I got it. I typed. You just write equal to minimum. Only first expression $and $6 whatever divided by E6. Then close the bracket and press Control Shift Enter. It will simulate the same things again for all the remaining cells.
Definitely. But sir, I am explaining because other than
I got it. But so I can also write the same logic using array formula, right? Wherever it is possible. Yes.
Anyone have questions? Okay, so I'm taking right now the Mac. Yes, anyone have a questions?
Myself, Preeti Kale. I want to just ask a question regarding the solver constraint. So what is that all different solver constraints, sir?
Means I'm not pardon to say solver constraints.
Yes, while adding a constraint.
Just a minute. I'm going to the sheet. Okay. You see this, all the constraints.
Yes, sir. I have selected
Yes, this is
a
a less
cell.
than equal to, then greater than equal to, then betweens, and then difference
Yes,
between them. Generally, we using integer greater than less than equal to. Bean and different we are not using. They are also be useful for doing some kind of the analytical works. So as per your convenience, you can use all remaining bean and different as well as.
Okay, okay. All different we are able to use, sir. Equals to all
Yes.
different. This is we are allowed to use.
What?
Sir, while adding a constraint, it will support. I think 2000 onwards, it will support. 2010 onwards, it is going to support. We are going to select a cell equals to and all different. Is that all
Yes.
cell values should be?
Yes. We just selecting this cell, and then after we just checking out if this is going to be 0 greater than equal to, and then after we have to add the constraint. If you're also checking the
Yes,
range
sir.
by range as well as you have to putting the cells range, and then after you also checking the range between the other range as well as like this.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's we start the macro. Many of you know about the macro, how macro is repeated task. So first of all, see what is a macro and how that should be useful. Okay, so the other section is a macro, but right now we just only show the one macro, then after other we have to see after the break. So what is a macro? Generally we are using a macro for the repeated task in the Excel. So basically we have to see these things in our developer tab as well as. So there are two options, and one option is a macro security. You have to see over this. Okay, so if we want to start the macro, we click the record macro, and we are using the use relative reference. That is very important when we creating a macro for the multiple level. So we show the initial macro, and then after we see that how this macro code is useful to creating any of the project. Okay. First of all, I creating a basic macro, only just basic macro to understand what is a macro first of all. Okay, so right now my active cell is on H6. You have to see this H6. My active cell is formed in H6. So I'm going to the developer tab. I show you in yesterday sessions how you getting your developer tab in the Excel sheet. First of all, going to file, then option, then after the customize ribbons, and you have to select your developer tab is unchecked, so you just check, and then after press the OK button. So they show in your Excel sheet. If you're using the 2007, so they're showing on the first general tab. Okay. And the remaining versions you can getting from the customized ribbon. So right now this is my H6. Okay, so I'm starting record macro. So this first of all opening the record macro. First of all we give the macro name. I give the macro name as a basic calculations. Then after they told me the assign key, which shortcut key I'm just pressing, and they show me representing the whole data. So remember one thing: Control C, Control V, Control A, they are already assigned keys, so we are not using those keys. We are using the other key like a Q, E, R, T, O. They are not assigning anywhere else, so we are using those keys. If you want to use Control C, so just pressing Shift button and then after you press the C. Okay, over here I'm using a Control plus Q. That is a basic macro I will just show you. Then after we go into the higher macro, we do the coding for that as well as. And we press the OK button. So first of all, remember my cell is for the H6. Okay. So, and I'm starting the macro and I'm given an assigned value as a Control Q. Then after I'm going to A1 with my mouse and I'm selecting the A1 and I'm starting the user relative reference. What is the use of the user relative reference in this macro? If I'm doing a jump, suppose I'm doing a jump A to C, and then after going to be in D section. So, so in the use relative reference, they just record the macro. If the value is going to be in end of the right side or end of the right side, and then go to the right side cell, they select the right side cell. If the value is going to end in F section, so they jump the F and that right side like G. Okay, the work of use relative reference is to refer the value when they're located. Okay, so over here I first of all using my control key. So press the control key and then I'm pressing the right button. You have to see control and right. So I'm jumping into the name to the designation. I'm not clicking the right arrow, but I'm clicking the control and right arrow. So they jump number to designation. So use ready reference is recording where the in the right side your value is finished. So they do the jump first of all over the last right side value. Then after I'm pressing the right arrow as well as, and I'm putting the salary over here. And then I'm going to the down arrow. I'm simply write down the if query so that otherwise 0. So getting the value, the first thing is I have to copy this. I'm not dragging it. I'm not dragging it to the end of the value. Okay. So when I'm dragging, they consider as steps. So right now I'm not dragging the this 1200, but just I'm copy it, going to left side, and I have to jump to the end of the value. So I press the control key and down arrow. So I jump the last value. This is the 10th value account. So I'm jump to the last value. Then after I'm release my control key and I'm simply move to the right side. Okay, and then control shift and upper arrow I select. They're selecting all the things and then control V I paste it. Then after control and up arrow I'm going to the D1. Also I'm going to the right side. I also add the DA. If the salary is at 1200, so adding give the 2% DA as well as. This is a 240 and then I have to copy it, going to the left side, control and down arrow. I jump into the last last data. Then after I'm release the control key. Then after going to I'm only pressing the right arrow, control shift and up arrow, selecting control V. Then again I press the control and up arrow, and then HRA salary 10% is an HRA. This repeated task total I copy it. Okay, control up arrow. The most important thing, I have to be also assign my last value. So control and left arrow. My macro is finished on A1, and then after I switch the use relative reference and stop recording macro. Okay, the whole macro is recording right now. I'm going to the macros sections and I'm going to the edit sections. The whole the coding is right now over here. We not write down this code. We also creating this kind of the code as well as let's we see in the other macro. This is only the basic macro what we have to taught. Then after we go to the advanced macro where we are using the multiple macros, and we are also getting the data from the outside value which is unstructured data. We make them in structured and then we have to use the macro. So the whole the things they had been created. So right now we just checking this macro is working or not. So in the other sheet we get this all the detail of the data, copy and we paste it. Okay, right now what I'm doing over here, because this is only the 3 columns, 1, 2 and 3 columns, and there are at least 11 rows right now. Okay, so I'm increase the rows and I'm increase also the column as well as. So what I'm doing, I just copy this value and I'm also dragging. Okay, so I take the 25 more data. So first of all, that is a 10 data I have right now. There is a 25 data I have. Also, the most important thing, they're working on the designation. So the designation should be as a right side. Okay, you're not adding the value over here. So I'm adding another column as well as department. They are whole from the department 1. The remaining is all from department 2. Okay. So right now my active cell is right now I7, and we do the debugging as well as how the macro is going to be work, so we can understand. So I just do the minimize over here. And I'm pressing right now, just like on C language, we pressing the F8 keyword. So I'm pressing the F8. So first of all, my basic calculation is starting right now. First of all, my active cell is I7, which was shown over here. I7. My active cell is I7. So F8. So first of all, they're going to the A1 cell. So F8, they're going to the A1 cell. Then after select to the right side. So he do the jump A to D column. See, they doing the jump. Okay, they're not moving. They're not going to A, then B, then C, then D. They directly jump A to the D column. Then after with using the use relative reference, because that should be happen only for the use relative section. Okay. Then after they go into the right side. In the right side, they have to be mentioned the salary. Then after face F8. So right now we only understand the RC. Okay, that is a totally different thing where we have to write down the formula with the C2 cell. Over here they have to be write down the RC -1. So what is in an RC? We can also see these things. Then after F8, they're putting the whole the formula over here. We have to see this formula D2 is equal accountant. So if they give the 12,000, if they have managers, they'll give the 15,000, otherwise 11,500 if they have the cells. So they first of all copy. So what the task I have to do, they have already repeated. they copy it, they simply go into the left side, and then after going to the down, so this is 25, they go to the last element, then after they go into right side, then after this selecting each and everything and then paste it, then after also going to the salary, and the same thing they putting the DA, then after HRA, and then after total, and at the end of the day they finish their project. So if we have the more data, we're getting all the details of the data as well as. So right now, if I'm removing those things and I just simply press Control key, I'm getting all the data. So this is a very simple macro. We have to do these things. Hello. So we have to see the simple macro, okay? Because we going to be in advanced macro, but first of all, my role is to give you the first of all instruction about. Many of you have to know about the simple macros, okay? So first of all, taking the question and answer round, because right now in 1:30 we have one break. Then after we have to be continue within 2 o'clock. So anyone have the doubts regarding this macro? Participant, you have any doubts regarding the macro?
Karyu? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Vishal sir, we have a next session on a 2:30. We have 1 hour break.
1 hour break. Okay.
Yes. Next section will be started on a 2:30.
Okay. So anyone have doubts regarding this macro? I'm creating this macro.
No, sir.
So this is very simple macro. This is very simple macro. I know that everyone know these things. This is very simple macro. We can create it very easily. Okay.
I just have one doubt. Yes, sir, it's Monica. I had one doubt that how you have run it means we have to minimize the other window and then only we can run it.
No, you are already. This window is only for the programming code. See, this is all for. I show this programming code. That's not need you have to be open this code. You just close down. You're not. Okay. I just giving the debugging to you. What they are doing, they're doing the repeated task. So this kind of the data, if you fetching the data from the other sources like a Finacle system, which every banking system they are using. So they have this kind of the data on the Notepad and batch file. So my role is to fetching the data from an Excel. Then after we applying the macro, then applying we are in the visualization formation. So I just show you the simple formula, simple macro as well as we are not using this macro. Okay, I just show you the one of the example.
You have just shown how the steps are being taken. Okay. I thought you have run it and then automatically, because I tried it and it was not coming. That was the issue actually.
What not coming? क्या नहीं हुआ?
Half of the data I just stopped in between, but I thought immediately you started running that micro. I just thought that.
No. I'm using a usability reference. You know about why we are using a usability reference. If you have lots of column and lots of rows with the same data, so that time that's not creating any issue. If I'm not using a usability reference, that not showed me the proper result.
Okay.
Sir, actually, what happened? This on this kind of the data we got from the Finacle system or eKuber, which is created by the TCS on the Notepad format. Okay, so we just putting those data into an Excel, and in a single click we do all this task. Means we have just clicking the button, they fetch the data from the Notepad, they putting into the Excel, and already is calculation each and everything, and then after analyzing how much person they getting the more salary or who has a lower salary, like a sum if and sum if else function.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, so we saw these things in the next sessions, and then after we saw one of the analytical projects. Okay, so I share you all these things. So please do the practice. I also share this macro link as well as I just save it in day 2. This is a basic macro. Please save this with the Excel macro enable workbook. Okay. I shared the link on WhatsApp, Google link. Okay. So we meet on 2:30 as per the Manisha ma'am say. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will start our third session at 2:30 p.m.